Welcome to Panica Predictions, where every week I'll be looking at the top games in the English Premier League and La Liga and sharing with you my very best predictions. Now, let me start by saying, Happy New Year, everyone! I hope you're enjoying this festive time of the year with your family and friends. And now, let's talk football. We've got loads of great games lined up for this weekend. I'll be making predictions on Man City's, Chelsea's, Arsenal's, Tottenham's and Real Madrid's games as well. And then our final prediction for this weekend's games is the huge match at Anfield where Liverpool will be taking on Manchester United. Please take a second to subscribe to this channel. It costs you nothing and it means a lot to me. And be sure to stick around to the very end where I'll be sharing with you my top 3 predictions for this weekend's Premier League and La Liga action. How good are Liverpool playing right now? They scored 5 goals past West Ham in their last game of 2024, and it looks like this year may be their year. And what about Nottingham Forest? They're in second place right now, although the Gunners have got a midweek game in hand to play, but it's fair to say that Nottingham Forest deserve to be in the top 4 right now. Man City finally managed to win a game as they beat Leicester 2-0 away, and that's the same scoreline which saw Ipswich Town manage their first win at home in the Premier League in 22 years as they beat a seemingly out of the title race Chelsea. Fortunately for Barcelona, there were no games in La Liga last weekend, so they've got a few weeks off now to basically sort their out. There is one game in Spain this weekend, and we'll start our predictions off with this game as it's the only game in La Liga, and then we'll move on to all the Premier League action. And this solitary game from La Liga sees second place Real Madrid playing their catch-up game against second last place Valencia. Madrid, they can go top of the league if they don't lose to Valencia.
No! God, please, no! No!
And Madrid will go top of the league because they will not lose to Valencia. Not to this Valencia right now, and not with this Real Madrid team. Valencia this whole season, they've been pretty poor by their standards. But having said that, they've managed to salvage 2 draws from their last 2 games, and that might give them a little bit of confidence that they might be able to trouble the Madrid backline in this game. I don't, however, think it's going to be enough. I think there's a huge difference in quality between these 2 sides right now, and I can only see one outcome for this game. So my prediction is for Real Madrid to win and for them to score 2 or more goals in that game. Take a pick from whoever you like to get on the score sheet. I mean, Vinny Jr.'s back, Mbappe scored a great goal last week, and Valverde scored an even better goal than Mbappe's later on in that same game. So Madrid to win and to score at least 2 goals in doing so. And Feliz Año to all you Madrid supporters, and come on Valencia! On to the Premier League now, and the first game we're kicking off with sees the most entertaining side in the Premier League, Tottenham Hotspur, taking on an in-form Newcastle United. You gotta love watching the Tottenham games, especially when they're playing at home. Only Brentford has scored more goals at home than Tottenham, and there's actually only 3 teams in the Premier League that have conceded more goals at home than Tottenham. And this week, they're at home. They managed a draw, but probably deserved to lose at home against Wolves in their last game. They lost away to Nottingham, no surprise there. They got annihilated by Liverpool, no surprise there either. Tottenham have only recorded 1 win in their last 4 games, while Newcastle, on the other hand, they've won their last 4 quite comfortably. In fact, in their last 4 games, they've scored 13 goals and conceded none. Will that run continue this weekend? One thing you can be fairly certain of, and that is goals. There's always loads of goals in Tottenham's games, especially when they're playing at home. Therefore, it makes it quite easy for me. My prediction for this game is there's going to be over 2.5 goals. Kulusevski and Solanke are always potential goal scorers for Tottenham, just as is Isaac right now for Newcastle. Who do you think will win this game between Spurs and Newcastle? Let me know down in the comments. 9th place Aston Villa, they're at home and they're playing against second last place Leicester City. Leicester recorded their 8th loss in their last 10 games at home against Manchester City in the last round, and they're deep in the relegation battle right now. Aston Villa, they'll be hoping for a quick return to winning ways after they were held to a 2-2 draw at home against Brighton last round. Both teams really need an improvement in their results. Aston Villa, they're at home, and I feel that they're slightly the stronger side in this game. And the way both teams are playing right now, I don't think it's going to be the prettiest game of the weekend. I do, however, think that Aston Villa will get over the line and get the 3 points in this game. It'd be much easier if Jean Duran was playing, but either way, I'm still going for an Aston Villa win here. My prediction is Aston Villa to get the home win against Leicester. Next up, we're off to London, where Crystal Palace are at home against Chelsea. Crystal Palace, they're slowly grinding out some decent results and moving further away from the relegation zone. And Chelsea's recent results sees them slowly moving further and further away from the Champions League top 4 places. Yes, I know they're in the top 4 still right now, but if they keep playing the way they played last game against Ipswich, they won't be staying in the top 4 for much longer. And Palace, well, they're managing to get their points when they're playing against teams in the bottom half of the table. And Chelsea, for the moment, is not in that half of the table. So Chelsea should really be the favourites to get the win in this game, but it's hard for me to have confidence betting on them to get a win after their last performance, losing 2-0 away to Ipswich Town. So instead for this game, I'm going to predict that both teams will score in the game. Palace have got some good goal scoring threats, and we all know that Chelsea do as well. So I think the safest prediction, and my prediction for this game, is that both teams will be scoring. And maybe Palace to score the winner? Next up, a resurgent Man City looking to carry on their winning streak of one game against a dazed and confused West Ham United. City fans must be getting excited now, back to winning ways and ready for that second half miracle run of the season, right? I don't think so. Just because they were lucky enough to beat a fairly ordinary Leicester City last time out, it doesn't change the fact that Man City have had a lot of problems this year, and they're not defending well, they're not finishing the chances they're creating, and it's just really not the same Man City that we saw at the beginning of the season and pretty much all of last year. Things could be worse, I guess. I mean, they could have just got back 5-0 at home by Liverpool, and West Ham fans won't be wanting a repeat of that result this weekend. But I've got some bad news for you. It's on the cards again. Not just because Man City need to get this win to try and get back into the top 4, but really more so because of how bad West Ham played against Liverpool. I mean, that game was over before half-time, and maybe this game will be as well. City going to come out all guns blazing, really trying to secure and make the victory as safe as possible, as soon as possible. And that might see them getting a couple of goals in the first half, but that will also leave them more vulnerable at the back. So I see this as a potentially very exciting game with lots of goals in it. And to be honest, I think there's only one winner in this game as well. So my prediction is going to be for a Man City home win and over 2.5 goals. Next up, we have Brighton hosting Arsenal. Now, Arsenal are third on the table at the time of this recording, but they've got a midweek game against Brentford coming up, so they might have moved up to second spot. Either way, they'll be looking to close the gap on league leaders Liverpool by getting the 3 points here. To do so, they'll need to beat a Brighton side that have really started to come off the ball in the last month or so. In their last 6 games, the best result that Brighton have managed to secure is actually a draw, and they only managed 3 of them in the last 6. So far this season, they've had a mixed bag of results. I mean, at home, they've lost to the likes of Crystal Palace. They've drawn against the worst team, Southampton, in the league. They drew with them at home. They couldn't even beat them. And yet they did manage to beat Man City. They drew their last home game against Brentford, and before that they lost against Crystal Palace 3-1, a team that Arsenal recently punished 5-1 away. That's not a good sign for Brighton. Gabriel Jesus' recent run of fine form has helped the Gunners get back to winning ways, and I see that run continuing this weekend, as I don't really see Brighton having enough to keep up with the Gunners for the whole 90 minutes. So my prediction for this game is for an Arsenal away win. And then it's the game we've been waiting for this weekend. Liverpool at home against Manchester United. It's first against 14? All Liverpool's Christmas wishes seem to be coming true, as they are comfortably sitting at the top of the Christmas tree table, and they're in the best form right now of the season. They'll be salivating right now at the chance to inflict as much damage as possible to a very crumbling Manchester United at Anfield this weekend. United are anything but. And this weekend, it may be a painful one for United supporters to watch. I'm just saying, 4 losses on the trot and then you're away to Liverpool. Man, that's a big ask. Good luck to them. Anything can happen. I'm not biased in this game. I don't really care who wins this game, as long as it's Liverpool and over 2.5 goals, because that's going to be my prediction. But I really can't see anything other than a comfortable win in this game. I know there's a lot of rivalry. It's a one-off game. There's the history and everything, but come on. Diaz, Salah, Gakpo, Jota, I mean, take your pick. They might all score this weekend. Liverpool and Man U are 2 teams heading in complete opposite directions right now, and I see Liverpool easily winning this game and for there to be over 2.5 goals as well. Let me know your scoreline predictions for Liverpool versus Man U down in the comments. And if you honestly think that Manchester United have a chance of causing an upset in this game, then I'll have a little of whatever you're having. I mean, if you're ever going to experiment with hallucinogenics, it may as well be at New Year's. And now for my top 3 predictions for this weekend. Starting with number 3, we have over 2.5 goals between Tottenham and Newcastle United. In the number 2 spot, we have Manchester City beating West Ham and over 2.5 goals in that game. And our number 1 prediction for this week, of course, drumroll please, we have Liverpool beating Manchester United and over 2.5 goals in that game as well. That's all for this week's predictions, guys. Please like and subscribe and share this channel with all your footballing mates. It really would mean a lot to me. Have a fantastic New Year's celebration. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, and I'll see you again here in 1 week's time.